All right, FFA, what's up, everybody? It's time to kick off the month of June. Can't believe it started June. I feel like we just started the year, and here we are halfway through it already. So many of you running to new heights, so many teams hitting some new promotions, new records. I know the month of May was a phenomenal month for so many of you guys hitting new record income months. So I want you guys to do me a favor. Make sure you go to your call to close thread. If you've not tallied up those deposits for the month of May, tally them all up, shoot over what those were for you in your call to close thread. All right. And then let me know what your goal is for the month of June. All right. This is a big month, guys. The summer month is the best time to close the gap on that leaderboard and to hit the Scotland trip. So, it's going to be daylight longer, like you guys have already seen here in May. People are in a better mood. People aren't as grumpy like they are in the winter. So it is by far the best month, June, July, and August, to put some big production up on the board. So jumping into today's call. All right, let's talk about the verse of the day. It says, neither height nor depth nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Guys, what is this saying? It's saying that no matter what the situation is, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you've done or what you've not done, you can't get separated from that love. And there's a peace that comes about that. All right. There's a peace when you're a business owner, like all of you guys are. There's a stress relief, right? When you know that no matter what happens, he's there watching out for you. You just have to invite him into your life and invite him into your business, and things will always work out. All right. Whether you think it's good or bad, all things work together for the good, right? Is what he says. So take that verse and run with it this week. On today's call, we're going to have the agent of the week last week come on and talk to you guys about how she had over a $13,000 week, but she was also the agent of the year. She's been one of the top agents for years now, always doing big things. So Erin's going to come on here with her coach, Taylor, and Taylor's going to ask her some questions. So make sure you guys stay tuned in and jump into that. Before I bring them on, I want to give a shout out to the top 10 on the week for last week. We had Julie coming in at number 10 as she claimed her spot. You can't kick Julie out of the top 10. Doesn't matter what you try to do. The girl's always going to put her name up there. We had Jennifer with a phenomenal week like usual. Ray putting up some big AP. We had Joni with a great week. Jenny Ivy, shout out to her. Every time I pulled up WhatsApp, I saw Jenny drop in a huge policy there. So nice work to her. Allison putting her name in the top 10 back-to-back weeks. Nice work out there. We had KZ with a phenomenal week as she's running to new heights this year. She's been off to such a great start. A big shout out to her. We had Jody and Corey fighting each other so close. Look how close that bar is. I think the difference was like $200 of production between those two. So big shout out to Jody as she put her name in the top 3 on the week. Then coming in at number 2, we had Corey. I know he was gunning for that top spot, but Aaron smoked him last week. But it's okay, Corey. You got another chance. Got another chance this week for him. But big shout out to him. In his first 2 months, he's been putting his name in the top 3 back-to-back weeks. And then taking home number 1, we had Aaron. Like usual, always hustling and doing big things out there. So top 10, great work to you guys. I'm going to hand the call off to Taylor and to Aaron as they dive in and share some tips with you guys. So Taylor, Aaron, you guys are here with the live feed. Thanks for taking this over, Taylor. I'm going to hand it off to you.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Aaron. How are ya?
I'm good. Sorry I'm in my car, but I could not go home after I ran all my children everywhere this morning.
Aaron said when she hangs this up, she's knocking her first door. So she is ready. Y'all better get ready because she's going to do it again. All right. Y'all might catch me looking down at my phone. I'm checking my notes. I've got some notes jotted down here because I don't want to miss anything. So last week, you had an amazing week, and a lot went into it. So Ryan just kind of briefly gave an introduction to you for those that might be watching that don't know who you are or newbies here. But Aaron, I kind of want you to talk just briefly about who you are as Erin outside of this, because I want people to understand what else you have going on other than being this phenomenal agent here, this top agent here doing, huge weeks. I want people to know what else you have going on, just in case somebody's watching that might be on the fence thinking they might have too much going on in life for this opportunity. So, Erin, what else do you have going on in life?
Well, I'll give you just an example of just this week, just so you can see. And it honestly, I feel like every week is like this. Today, I'll be in the field all day. But this morning, I had 2 of my boys had to be at 2 different places, one in driver's ed and one at a baseball camp by 8 a.m. And they were a pretty good distance apart. So, and then one ends at 12 today and one ends at 2 o'clock today. So range and pick up and all that for them so that I didn't have to do that. They both have that. One has it all 5 days this week and one just has it 3 days. One has practice at 6:30 tonight for baseball for All-Stars. And then one has a game tonight at 7:30. Same thing tomorrow night. Just practice on Wednesday and Thursday at 6:30 and both on Friday practice and a game. So, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I literally take every day by day. I go day by day and I look at my calendar. Everything has to be on a calendar. So, during full swing baseball season, it is, one child, I have 2 in high school. One child has a game at 4 o'clock. One child has a game at 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then there might be a rec ball game somewhere else. So it's like that. I feel like almost every day of my life.
Yep. So Erin is a very busy mother. She has 3 beautiful boys. She has a wonderful husband, and they are just a family. They're all on the go all the time. And Erin still finds a way to make her schedule work for her and her family because when she first started here, that's something she said, I am not missing things. I am going to be present for my children and for my husband. I am not missing things. And so that has been very important to Erin her entire career here. But it's also been important for Erin to pour into her career and do something with this opportunity. And that's what she's done. And she's balanced it all well. So I think it's important that people know that before we have this conversation of how your last week went, because you didn't miss anything. In fact, you were at multiple graduations last week. There were multiple things going on throughout your week with your family and your extended family that were non-negotiables. So let's talk about last week. You did over $13,000 in production. That is amazing. Awesome week. Talk to us a little bit about overall how many presentations you did, how many door knocks that took, how many leads did you have starting out for your week? What did your schedule time look like? How many hours were you in the field? Talk to us a little bit about that.
So Monday was a holiday. I took off just like majority. Tuesday, I told my team, I was like, look, I really only have 2 full days this week that I can be in the field all day. I have things arranged that I can be in the field all day those 2 days because Thursday morning, I wanted to attend a graduation, and then Friday morning, I wanted to attend a graduation. Depending on how my week was going would determine if I would be out in the field after the graduation or, whatever. But so Tuesday and Wednesday, I told my family, I was like, look, so-and-so's taking him to practice. If I get done in the field, then I'll be there by the end of practice to pick him up, whatever it might be. But I have to be running because this is my only 2 full days for this whole entire week. And I need to make it happen. My goal was $5,000 for 2 days. With, Thursday being a possible in the field after graduation. Thursday my days are all messed up because that Monday throws me off. I have to catch up. It takes me a while to catch up. So that Tuesday I went out. I just ran hard all day. I honestly, Taylor, don't even remember how many let me look. I got it right here. So Tuesday, I did 3 presentations. I closed all 3 apps, and I was at 3220 for that day.
How many hours would you say that you worked that day to get those 3 presentations?
So I was in the field just I work no less than an hour from my house at least every day.
You're breaking up just a little
like
bit,
the
Erin.
areas that I work.
I got your back. I got you back.
I work no less than an hour from where I live. I feel like going outside of my area, I do better. That's just something for me that keeps me from being distracted. I feel like the areas that I work are just better areas for me. Mm-hmm. So I travel an hour, hour and a half from my home almost every day. And sometimes more. So I usually am knocking my first door, between 10:30 and 11, I would think, just because I do drive. Sometimes a little earlier. But I just, honestly, guys, I just knock until I get somebody, and hopefully it's within the first 2 or 3 knocks. And this past Wednesday when I worked, I did not knock that many doors. I just went out there, had my lead in, I got in. We had a good time, good conversation. Tuesday, I stayed in this woman's house for hours. I think I texted my call to close and said, I've worked as hard as I can in this house. I thought I had her. I got to leave. Like, I'm wasting my time. I feel like I'm about to leave, and this woman's like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. And I was like, finally. Like, I felt like I didn't even know. And so I felt like I was closing her umpteen times while I was in there, and she would say something and get off track, and she'd talk for 30 minutes. And I was like, oh my goodness. So that's all some of these people want, is just to talk.
Yeah.
So I finally closed her, and then I went to one more after that and got 2 more smaller apps. I'm trying to even think. No, I got this one on the phone. I did one on the phone that evening after I got home. So when I got home that evening, I had 12 baseball players, their parents, and everybody they were at my house because it had been raining and ball practice was canceled. So they came to the house to use the batting cage. So when I got home, I was, crazy. And I said, you know what? I have an app to close. This woman contacted me. I'm going to go inside where it's quiet. I'm going to do this. So I went and did that. And, but
so some of this
the whole time, one more. If you have time for one more, both days, that one more, it set me up. I mean,
So a lot of this was just you out in the field pushing to try to have, a perfect scenario of a day. A perfect scenario would be 3 presentations. That's, a great day, good, phenomenal day. Some people push for more presentations, but 3 good, solid presentations is an awesome day. So that was your goal, just to kind of push for that. You knocked until you found that. And then it sounds like some stuff happened over the phone, maybe with follow-up, or somebody maybe who fell off your books, or when you got home, you had something to do. So there were a few in there, but mostly this was you knocking, and this was new business, and you sitting and just presenting to who would listen. That's awesome. And it just lined up well. You just kept pushing until you found your 3. Talk to me a little bit about, so those 2 days you ran hard, you didn't get home till late. normally when you're setting up your week, do you have like a day where you're like, okay, this is my power night, or these 2 are my power nights where I'm not coming home until I find my 3 or until I find XYZ? Like, what keeps you out in the field when it's time to go home and eat dinner? Or because I've seen you out working, past a lot of everybody else that's home. What's keeping you there? Like, what's your schedule telling you that I can't go home right now?
So, like Wednesday, for an example, I was like, you know what? Yes, I had a good day on Tuesday, but I haven't hit my goal for the week. I know it's only the second day of the field for the week. Y'all, when I put my leads in, I had everything in for that, on that Monday night, because Monday we were off. I had worked on getting everything in. I got a new lead, and I thought, oh yay, so I'm going to put it in my Road Warrior. And I was like, you know what? I know this name. So I typed her into my Notability to see, and I had notes on a previous lead that I had for her. And I have knocked this woman, I don't even know how many times it said, 3 or 4 times already. And I was like, seriously? Like, okay. So Wednesday morning, I ran to a client already. She had to change her beneficiary on her 2 policies that she has. So I got her, we filled out that form real quick. I left, and I said, you know what? This woman that I've knocked already, however many times, maybe she's ready now. I don't know. I can't ever get her home. Maybe today's the day. So she was kind of on the way to my next lead. So I stopped. There she was, Miss Patricia, answered the door. And I was like, hey, and I knew her. I was like, you are the hardest woman to get home. What in the world keeps you so busy? And oh man, in the previous past, she'd had a double lung transplant. She had hepatitis C from the transplant, because the lungs that she got had hepatitis C. Her list was long. Thankfully, we got her some coverage. She had just gotten a Colonial Penn. We called and canceled that. So she was extremely grateful that I was there. And while I was there, she called her son, who was right down the road about just 2 or 3 miles. And her ex-husband lives with her son. And she said, my ex-husband needs some insurance, because I'm not helping my sons pay for it. And my sons just don't have it to fork out like that, So I said, okay, well, let me talk, So she called her son, got him on the phone, and we were talking, and he's like, well, my son needs insurance too, and this, that, and the other. So I was like, hold up. Give me your address. I'll be there as soon as I'm done with your mama. So I went over there. They were all sitting out back. The dad was there. I talked with him first, got him some coverage. This other guy came up in the middle of my presentation, which was one of their very close friends. And I said, you have insurance? That's not how, you know what I mean? And he's like, no, but I need some. And I said, well, you sit right there. And when I finish with him, I'm going to get you covered. And he's like, okay. So he did. I had another app I was working on, but for the son, he had been in a motorcycle accident, DUI, just a couple of things on his, going on with him. And I could not get him covered. I called for some risk assessments. Transamerica wanted to cover him. This is just for knowledge in your head. They would cover him because he had that DUI. They would cover him at a standard rating for the lifetime whole life. Mm-hmm. But it was the standard rate plus $2.50 per thousand of coverage that they wanted, and he wanted 100,000. So not affordable. But just so you know that they will cover it. It's gonna be a pretty penny. So of course I'm still trying to work on that. He was in the hospital for 3 months, all kinds of stuff. So still got that one we've been talking about trying to figure out with him, and wrote the friend and gave quotes to just about the whole entire family.
So for anybody listening, or newbies, or anybody that is confused, Erin basically bought one lead, went to one house, and then a ton of business unfolded just by, one person. And then it was a domino effect. So don't be scared you definitely need to be talking about those family members in the house. That's part of that connection. That's part of, emotionally attaching that person to their policy for the beneficiary. Those things all happen for a reason, but then they also can happen and situations like this unfold where Erin then becomes the family agent, the neighborhood agent, the whole town agent. Things like this happen all the time. It just takes one. She didn't know that was going to happen that day. It just happened. So don't be scared when you're in the house to talk about family, extended family, friends, coworkers, neighbors, pastors, anybody. So amazing job there. And, Erin, I know the feeling, and there's like so much adrenaline happening because this is a lot of business and this is a lot of people coming at you. So I can picture Erin now just literally taking control. That's something very important. Take control of the situation and make sure that you're the one that's, keeping everything calm and organized. Organization is huge in situations like this. And Erin just stayed there until everybody was taken care of. She probably has lists of notes and files and everything just labeled. Is so key to organize it all, stay in control, stay calm, because that's a lot of business. There's a lot of responsibility on you. But it's very rewarding, not only for you, but also for the entire family, because now that mama's not going to have to worry about her kids. Her ex-husband is, tied into it also. And then they've got some friends and stuff. And I guarantee you she's going to continue to get calls because that's a lot of people's lives that she touched in one sitting. So amazing job there. Erin, we got a few more minutes, and I definitely want to hit on this last part. You and I have been talking, and I want everybody to hear this coming from you because this just says it all, that we're all the same. We all go through the same things. We all are in the same situations. But this opportunity is also the same for everyone. I want to talk about mindset for a minute. I want to talk about struggling, and I want to talk about that rut that we sometimes all can get in, and how you dig yourself out of that at times, because it is real. And I just want to speak on that just a little bit, Erin, kind of where you've been lately. And this week dug you out of that, girl. So talk to me a little bit about where your mindset's been lately, but also what you've done to get out of that.
So I don't know. I honestly don't know how it even really started, but I just was not feeling my normal self in the field. I was still working. So people see, oh, well, she's putting numbers up. So, but I just did not feel myself. And even though I was putting numbers on the board and, I was pushing through, I just didn't feel, I don't know, maybe just true to myself when I was doing this. And, I still knew what I was doing. I still knew how to do it. But something was just pulling on me. And in the mornings, it'll be very, very hard to just be like, okay, I've got to go. I've got to get out. So having that discipline in this career, if you do not have discipline, then you do not have motivation. You don't have consistency. You don't have anything. If you do not have self-discipline, you have nothing. Right. And so I still had to push myself. And I would have talks with myself going down the road, and I've got this. What is wrong with me? I've got to get out of my head. When I saw my numbers come in for April, in May, when I saw those numbers come in, I thought, last year I was here by this point. Like, what is going on with me? And this is not a career that you can compare yourself to someone. You can't say, oh, well, so-and-so's got this. Why am I not doing that? This is on you. You have to set your goals. You can't. Yeah. I mean, I know we're all like, let's pick somebody and run with them. And when we say that, we're not, it's not like we're saying, oh, you have to be better than them, or, you just have to pick that person to make them push you to your best.
Right.
And I just was not pushing myself to be my best. And I've prayed about it and thought about it and prayed about it some more. And I've just told myself, you got to figure it out. And I can tell you, and I can coach it, and I can do it all day long, but you have to put those things into motion. And I was doing it. I was putting it into motion, but I just wasn't feeling myself about it. Like, I just wasn't feeling. So lots of prayer. Last week, like I said, I knew I only had 2 days. I didn't have a choice but to get out there. I had made arrangements for everything so that I could be out there. And you have to have everyone on board with you, with your family. You have to say, hey, this is what it's going to be. I want to do this. I want this. And you have to write it down. You have to pray about it, pray on it. And finally, God was like, Erin, what are you doing? You've got this. Get out there. And then last week he was like, see, I told you. Because when I sat down that night, I got home. I drove home in silence. My eyes were blurry. It's just like one of these days. It's just like, and because when I left that house, I went right up the road to another one that was really close. I thought, I might as well knock this one out because it is right here. And they had just got Lincoln Heritage policies. And I was like, this is not even real. Like, I text my call to close and I said, y'all, I'm about to cry. Like, I feel like I'm in a dream. This is not even, but I was so thankful. I sat on my couch that night till like 10:30 and just silence. My husband was sitting on the other couch and he's just sitting there grinning ear to ear because he had won Coach of the Year for the he coaches a high school softball team. So let me add that in my schedule. He's in opposite direction of me. And he won Coach of the Year, and I'm sitting there just like, what just happened for today? And he's over there like, and I'm just like, but
it honestly, it sounds like when you get down and out, literally you just go to work. I mean, there's no really special sauce to it. You honestly put pressure on yourself last week to cram everything into 2 days, and it just worked. And you just trusting and believing and continuing to go last week just was huge for you. One last thing, Erin, before we end the call, because we got about 2 minutes left. What's one thing you want to say to somebody who's either new or struggling or maybe watching this and on the fence about, leaving their career to come here? Like, what's one thing that you can give to somebody listening today? Just one little tidbit of a nugget.
Just one thing. It's hard. I mean, this career has been just the most amazing thing for myself, for my family. Like you mentioned earlier, I miss nothing for my family. It's just been, I mean, I've blown even myself. Like I said, you have to compete with yourself only. And just myself, I have pushed myself so hard that I don't even have, it blows me away sometimes. And I know it's me doing it. And I don't mean to sound, one way or another, but everybody here can do this. Anybody can do this. You just have to have the self-discipline, the mindset, to do it. And anybody can do just what I did last week. It took me 2 days, and I just went to work. That's all I did. And I'm still like blown away by those 2 days. And every single person that I did last week has been approved and done. They're done. Like, I have nothing else to do with them. And if everybody can go out there and just do that in just 5 days, even, or in 2 weeks, even, the difference that you will make in your life and your family is just, it's amazing. Not just financially. You know, I didn't go home that night and think, okay, well, I made this much off this one, this much off this one. Am I thankful for what I'm going to make off of those? Yes, I am very thankful. But I also, I'm just very, very thankful. This career has done so much for my family, and I am extremely grateful and thankful. And, you know, we lived before, we lived paycheck to paycheck. My husband has done the same career for many years now, but, you know, and it's grown a lot. And I worked at the credit union for 14 years, and it was just like, okay, we got this much longer till we get paid. And now that's a shift in my mind that I never thought that I would ever be able to make. Like, I don't have to wait on that money to come in. I'm not like, when's my next deposit coming in? When I got to buy groceries, I got to buy gas. And I could not be more grateful and thankful for that. To be able to stop and get gas and not have to look at my bank account, you know, and I'm not saying that to brag, because every single person here can do that.
Yep.
You just have to put your mind to it and do it. I mean, there's nothing that anybody here cannot do.
Well, I'm like about to get emotional just listening to you talk, because I know the feeling of it and I understand what you're saying. And if everybody could just experience it, what a blessing it would be, you know. I appreciate you getting on here this morning, and I am so proud of you. I love watching you. I am cheering you on again this week. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you have a great June. We're kicking off June today. But that is all we have for everybody. I hope somebody took something away from this. I appreciate all of you, and I hope I end this call correctly, Ryan. Everybody have a great day, and thank you so much, Erin.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
Bye.